A quiet airport in Eastern Europe. A man in a gray hoodie walks past security with a calm smile. His boarding pass scans green. His passport beeps approval. No questions, no suspicion. But here's the truth. The passport isn't real. Neither is the ID. The man doesn't even legally exist. And yet, the system shows everything is legitimate. Because he put it there. His name, at least the one investigators would later uncover, was Ivan Petrov, an IT specialist who once worked in the back rooms of airport systems. A ghost in plain sight. Colleagues remembered him as brilliant but strange. Always coding, barely speaking. The kind of man who could write a script faster than he could hold a conversation. In his 20s, he helped develop software that processed passenger data. Databases that controlled who could board, who was flagged, and who was denied entry. He knew the architecture inside out. That knowledge gave him power. At first, he used it for curiosity. A fake ID here, a test entry there. He would implant names of people who didn't exist, just to see if the system noticed. It never did. Soon, curiosity turned into opportunity. By the early 2010s, Ivan realized he could build entire identities. Passports, visas, travel histories, all invisible to border security. A phantom passenger could board a plane, travel across continents, and leave no trace, except in the system, where Ivan had written their existence. The underworld came knocking. Word spread in dark corners of the internet. There was a man who could create identities that no government could question. Drug traffickers, arms dealers, fugitives, everyone wanted his service. At first, Ivan refused. He told himself he was only experimenting. But then came the offer. One fake passport, $50,000. Cash, delivered in a suitcase. That was more than his entire annual salary. He said yes. It started small. A single cartel member slipping through security. A mid-level smuggler passing customs unseen. But Ivan's skill grew. He refined his process, creating automated scripts that could generate IDs faster, complete with travel histories, visa stamps, and entry logs. His system was flawless. Even Interpol cross-checks came back clean. Soon, he wasn't just forging documents, he was rewriting reality. By 2015, Ivan's reputation was legend. They called him the architect because he didn't just make fake passports. He built entire lives. A man could walk into an airport as nobody, and by the time he reached the gate, he was a diplomat from another country, with years of travel records backing him up. Governments never knew, because Ivan was inside the system itself. But power attracts danger. Criminal groups fought for his services. Rival gangs threatened him. At one point, investigators believe he was kidnapped for weeks, forced to build identities for an organized crime syndicate. When released, he disappeared, changed his own records, erased his existence. For months, no one could find him. Then something strange happened. Border agents in Germany flagged a traveler whose passport seemed too perfect, too clean. When they dug deeper, they realized the ID number didn't match the national sequence. It was the first crack. Investigators pulled threads, tracing the anomaly back through multiple airports. What they found shocked them. There were hundreds of phantom identities in circulation, each perfectly documented, each invisible to normal security checks, and they all traced back to Ivan Petrov. Interpol launched a task force. They called it Operation Ghost Key. The goal was simple: find the man who had rewritten the world's airports. But catching him would prove nearly impossible, because Ivan lived inside the very systems used to track him. Every time authorities got close, their databases shifted, records changed, flights disappeared, his trail evaporated. He was hunting them back. By 2017, Ivan was no longer just a hacker. He was a kingmaker. Cartels relied on him. Fugitives depended on him. Even whispers suggested that intelligence agencies quietly used his skills when it suited them. The man who controlled identities controlled freedom itself. And Ivan controlled them all. Authorities grew desperate. Each month that Ivan remained free, more fake passengers slipped through borders. Interpol estimated that over 1,200 phantom travelers were moving undetected. Drug couriers, fugitives, even suspected terrorists. And all of them were ghosts Ivan had created. In 2018, a break finally came. A low-level smuggler in Spain was arrested with a fake diplomatic passport. Under interrogation, he confessed that it had been arranged by someone called the Architect. Investigators traced encrypted emails sent through a hidden server. The IP address led them to a flat in Warsaw. When the raid team broke in, the apartment was empty. No furniture, no personal belongings, only a single computer tower left humming in the middle of the room. He was still human, and humans make mistakes. That same year, a private investigator hired by a group of victims tracked unusual travel patterns across Eastern Europe. The investigator noticed something odd. Every month, on the same day, the same phantom traveler appeared in airport logs. The name changed. The passport changed. But the flight? Always the same. Warsaw to Belgrade. It was Ivan testing his own system. And for the first time, someone had found his routine. In 2019, Serbian authorities, tipped off by Interpol, set a trap. They monitored the flight, watching every passenger who cleared security. One man stood out. Early 40s, gray hoodie, quiet demeanor. His documents checked out perfectly. Too perfectly. When they moved to arrest him, chaos erupted. Ivan bolted through the terminal, sprinting past confused travelers. By the time officers reached the tarmac, he was gone. He had slipped out a side exit minutes before the trap closed. Inside his abandoned backpack was a laptop with a single phrase looping on screen. "You cannot erase the Architect." After that, Ivan vanished completely. His phantom passengers stopped appearing. The flow of fake IDs slowed. For a while, authorities thought he had finally gone underground for good. But then, new patterns emerged. In late 2020, border agents in Dubai flagged several suspicious passports tied to Eastern European entries. The coding style and the database modifications was identical to Ivan's signature. He was still active, but now he was smarter, invisible, and very possibly working under protection. Rumors spread in intelligence circles. Some claimed Ivan had cut a secret deal with the government, that he now built phantom identities for spies instead of criminals. Others believed organized crime syndicates had taken him in, providing sanctuary in exchange for unlimited new lives. And then there were the darker theories, that Ivan no longer existed at all, that he had erased his own identity permanently, becoming a ghost in the very systems he once manipulated. To this day, no one knows for sure. What investigators do know is chilling. Airport systems across the world still carry traces of his work. Phantom passengers with no homes. Passports belonging to people who never existed. Travel histories that lead nowhere. It's as if Ivan left behind an army of shadows, scattered across the globe. And occasionally, one of those shadows still boards a plane. The legacy of the Architect isn't just about fake IDs. It's about trust. The quiet faith that every beep at an airport gate means safety. That every passport scanned is real. Ivan proved that trust could be rewritten with a few lines of code. That one man with access and brilliance could undo the entire idea of borders. And that, perhaps, is why he remains free. Because governments, criminals, and spies alike all have a reason to protect a man who can make anyone, anywhere, into someone else. Today, when border agents catch a fake passport, some still whisper his name, not as a warning, but almost as a myth. The Architect, the IT genius who rewrote reality, the man who implanted ghosts into the world's airports, and who, for all we know, may still be walking among us, boarding flights, unnoticed, on identities he created for himself. Because how do you catch a man who exists everywhere and nowhere?